we have is Quake II for the N64. Now, Quake II is actually a port of the PC version of the same game. Now, I actually got this game back in 2005. I traded Mega Man X for the PlayStation 1, and I believe it was this crappy game called Future Tactics: The Uprising for the PlayStation 2. Now, but anyways, Quake 2 is actually a great game. I mean, it's actually a great port, but there's only one thing which kind of sucked to it. Like, sometimes the frame rate would go down and whatnot, so yeah, but I do like, but the PSX port of this game was kind of a little bit more superior to this. I mean, not to say that to bash the N64, no, I mean, but yeah, the N64 port is also great, don't get me wrong. NFL Blitz Special Edition. Now, I remember my brother gave me this game back in 2002, and this was like after my freshman year in high school. So now, this has to be like one of my personal favorite games on the N64. As a matter of fact, almost everybody who played the N64 would probably say that the NFL Blitz series has to be their personal favorite. So, yeah. Now, funny that I have the special edition version, but I mean, it's titled Special Edition, but honestly, it's the same freaking game as with other NFL Blitz games that was released before this. This was released like around, you know, late in the N64's life cycle. Obviously, if you play NFL Blitz 2002 and 2003, then it's nothing too new on that. But come to think of it, and don't even get me started with that, you know, shit pile Blitz the League series. Don't even get me started with that. And thankfully, I don't even have Blitz the League for the PlayStation 2, and I plan on not getting it. So yeah, this is NFL Blitz Special Edition. Okay, and here we have this Dark Rift for the N64. Now, Dark Rift is... Now, this is another fighting game right here. Come to think of it, this game is it's an okay fighting game, but it's way short of great. Now, the best part of the game will have to be the the opening title screen right here. So, and another thing which is probably the best part of the game would probably be the fact that this game is one of the few N64 games that run at 60 frames per second. But yeah, I might give this game a shot sometime in the future. So yeah, Dark Rift. And last but definitely not least, we have Winback Covert Operations. It's a Koei game. This was distributed by Koei, but it was developed by a company known as Omega Force. Yeah, you can see, you know, screw the price tag that because I bought this game off of Amazon.com like 2 years ago. Now, at the time when this game came out, I never even heard of this game, but when I played it on when I played it for the first time, oh my god, this game got to be great. I mean, this game is going to be great. I did see a review on GameSpot, and it was kind of a biased review, but yeah. Now, Winback Covert Operations was later ported to the PlayStation 2. The PlayStation 2 version, which obviously had you know, more polished graphics and voice acting, and I believe the PlayStation 2 version also had bots and whatnot. But either way it goes, Winback Covert Operations, this has to be my favorite N64 game right here. Mainly because it does have that Metal Gear Solid feel, if you ask me, in which it does. So, and come to think of it, AG, I saw your question regarding, on Facebook, regarding of what N64 game should be made as a movie. And I say this game right here, because this game has an excellent story. Out of all the N64 games that I played that was considering about storylines and whatnot, this game has to have like an excellent story. So, yeah. But not only that, so there you have it. And last but definitely not least, we have Fighting Force 64. Now, I remember playing the PlayStation 1 version of this game, and you know, that game was pretty fun. The PlayStation 1 game was indeed pretty fun. Now, as far as this game right here, this is basically a butchered port of the PlayStation 1 version. But either way it goes, it's still a fun game regardless. Now, I mean, if you're into beat 'em ups and whatnot. And speaking of beat 'em ups, yeah, this game does kind of have that Streets of Rage feel to it, if you ask me. But yeah, like this game right here, I mean, this game is pretty, it's passable, but not the best game I've ever played. But I still find it pretty fun to play anyway. Despite the fact that it's basically nothing but a butchered port of the PlayStation 1 version. And the reason why it was butchered due to the fact because if you look at it in a nutshell, I mean, you know, an N64 card can hold so much memory and whatnot. And, you know, a PlayStation 1 game disc has more feel to it. And oh, don't get me started with that crappy sequel, if you ask me. Because this game did have a sequel, and it sucked terribly. And yes, I happen to have Fighting Force 2 for the Dreamcast. And my God, is it bad. But yeah, Fighting Force, not the best. I mean, it's a decent game. I mean, it's a passable game, but if I want to play, you know, if I want to play 3D beat 'em ups, I'll stick with the PlayStation 1 version of this game. But keep in mind, this is a good ad for your collection. So, and it's funny how IDOS was also a part of this. Well, if you look at it, this game is indeed, you know, it was actually developed by Core Design, who also did the Tomb Raider series and whatnot. And yeah, Crave and IDOS. You know, IDOS was... Now, funny that Crave Entertainment basically distributed this version of the game, but IDOS actually distributed the PlayStation 1 version, if you ask me. So, but yeah, Fighting Force 64 was still developed by Core Design. So that wraps it up, guys. Stay tuned for future content. I will be finishing up the review of Image Fight for the NES.